Okay students, let us move to the third chapter, that is electricity. Very interesting chapter and a very big chapter also, because we study a lot of things in this electricity. So here, what are the things that we discuss in this electricity chapter is, first we shall discuss about the electric charge. We discuss about electric charge. Then in this electric charge again we also discuss about properties of electric charge. Properties of electric charge. Then we also discuss about the three types of material, that is conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Just the definitions: conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Then we also discuss about the electric current. Then electric current and its unit also we will discuss. Okay. Then we shall have the definitions. After the electric current, we study about potential difference. Next is potential difference. Potential difference is also called as voltage. Potential difference is also called as voltage. Next we study about resistance and its unit, electric current and its unit, potential difference, resistance and its unit. Next we shall study about, when we know these difference, we shall move on to Ohm's law. Then Ohm's law. Then uses and limitations of Ohm's law also we study. Then the formula of Ohm's law, the three forms of Ohm's law also we study. Then applications and limitations. After which we shall do some numericals on this Ohm's law also. Then next comes is law of resistance. Law of resistance, or the factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends upon. Okay. In this we also study about resistivity, or it is also called as specific resistance, resistivity or specific resistance. Then we also study about, we shall do some numericals on it, that is law of resistance. Next, after this we shall go for series combination of resistors. Series combination of resistors. Next we shall go for parallel combination of resistors. Parallel combination of resistors. Next we shall do some numericals on series and parallel combination of resistors. Next we shall go for electric power. Electric power. Then what are the three forms of electric power? That is the formulas that relates to electric power. After studying this, next we shall move to electrical energy. Electrical energy and its unit. Okay, electric power and its unit and its three forms. Electrical energy and its unit. Then we shall study about after this, next we study about heating effects of electric current. Heating effects of electric current. After heating effects of electric current, we shall study about the rating of an electrical appliance. What is the rating of an electrical appliance? How do we rate that in terms of voltage or current or power? So how do we rate that electrical appliance? Okay, rating of that electrical appliance. Then applications of heating effect of electric current. Applications of heating effects of electric current or electrical energy. Okay, so these are the various topics that we study in this chapter. Students, now let us start the chapter 3 electricity by the concept of electric charge. Electric charge. Now, very long ago, the discovery of electricity happened with the experiments of various scientists. Okay, so this concept of electric charge, it was done, or the thesis was done by various scientists. They like Gilbert, then Benjamin Franklin, okay, Gilbert, Benjamin Franklin, and Thales. So, and many other scientists. Okay, they all did the experiments. Okay, based on their theoretical observation and practical observation, they came out with the concept of the electric charge. Okay, now, what do you mean by this? How they observed this charge means they told that this particular electric charge or this charge is nothing but it is the fundamental existence of the matter. It is the fundamental existence of the matter. They told that this charge is nothing but it is the fundamental existence of the matter. Okay, it means it is the basic. Just like how we say the atoms, they constitute, right, solids, liquids and gases, where the atom is the smallest indivisible particle of an element. So, like that, this charge is also the fundamental existence of the matter. Then later, they did some experiments, okay, some simple experiments like, they took in one ebonite rod, okay, this ebonite rod or a glass rod, simply a glass rod. They took a glass rod and they took some wool, okay, they took a glass rod and a wool and they started rubbing this wool, okay, they started rubbing this wool to the glass rod. So after they rubbed the wool to the glass rod, after a few minutes they could observe that the glass rod and wool both are said to be charged, which means even the glass rod is charged as well as the wool is also charged, which means now before that the glass rod had some charge, right? Now that amount of charge was transferred to wool. Okay, the charge got transferred from glass rod to wool while rubbing, means transfer of charges they took place. Okay, so this is the smallest or the observation that could be which was made by all these scientists. They took the glass rod and the wool, or ebonite rod also you can take, and when the wool was rubbed to the glass rod, both are charged. Now, since the wool is rubbed against the glass rod, whatever the amount of charge that was present in the glass rod, it got transferred to wool. So this was the thing that was observed. So then they also told that now when this wool was rubbed to the glass rod, this glass rod, it lost few electrons. Okay, or yes, this glass rod lost the electrons, and this wool, it gained the electrons. It gained electrons. That's why you can see that the transfer of charge that took place, or the transfer of electrons that happened between the glass rod and wool, in which the glass rod, since the charges were transferred from glass rod to wool, the glass rod acquired positive charge, or the glass rod acquired positive charge or loss of electrons. So glass rod is said to be positively charged when it loses the electrons, which means to say that a body is said to be positively charged when it loses the electrons. Why? Because those electrons got transferred to wool, so it lost. Whichever body will loses the electrons, it will become positive charge. Okay, so the glass rod is said to be positive charged. So on the other hand, whatever the charges the glass rod lost, the same charges, it went nowhere, but it got transferred to wool. Therefore, this wool has acquired negative charge. This wool has acquired negative charge, and we call that as, that's why wool has gained the electrons, means excess electrons, more electrons, excess electrons are there in wool. That's why this wool acquires negative charge, whereas glass rod acquires positive charge. Remember, a body is said to be positively charged only when it loses the electrons. A body is said to be negatively charged when it gains the electrons. Okay, so this is the basic concept of the charge. Now moving to the next concept, that is properties of charges. Properties of charge. Now you have understood what you mean by charge. That is, charge is the fundamental existence of the matter. There are two types, that is positive charge and negative charge. How the body will get positive charge? When it loses the electrons. When the body will become negatively charged? When it gains the electrons. Okay. Now, these properties of charge, the first two properties will begin after the famous personality, what we call it as Coulomb's. Okay. Now, he also contributed for the charge and its properties. That is, for the static electricity, his contribution is more. Okay, Coulomb contributed for the static electricity. Okay, now this Coulomb has given two laws. One is first law and second law. Okay, or we will also call as Coulomb's laws. Okay, now what is this first law? He will say that like charges repel, unlike charges attract. So what he says, like charges repel, unlike charges attracts. So what do you mean by that? Like charges repel and unlike charges attract means, say for example, there are two types of charges. One is positive charge, the other one is negative charge. Now if you say positive charge, one charge is there, bring one more positive charge here, means like charges, two like charges. They will repel, means they are forced to move backwards, right? They will repel. So here repulsion is there. They repel, okay, means they will not come together. They will go to either sides. They will go to either sides, means because they are like charges of the same sign, same polarity, okay. And even for negative also the same thing will happen. They both repel each other. Whereas unlike charges attract each other. What do you mean by unlike charges attract each other? Suppose if you bring a positive charge against a negative charge, since positive negative is there is force of attraction. Here there is force of attraction. So unlike charges attract, like charges repel. Okay. Similarly for minus plus also, if there is negative or positive charge also, the force of attraction takes place. So this is Coulomb's first law, that is like charges repel and unlike charges attract. Next, Coulomb also gave one more law, okay, and I will not give the detailed description of Coulomb's second law, very big law, so just give the introduction. So what he told, the electrostatic force of attraction, the F means force, the electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion between any two charges means it can be a positive charge, means force of repulsion. If there is positive negative charge, force of attraction. So either force of attraction or force of repulsion between any two charges, okay, it is directly proportional to product of the charges Q1, Q2. Q means charge, Q is the first charge, positive or negative. Q2 is also second charge, positive or negative. So it is directly proportional to product of the strength of the charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Okay, which means here you have Q1 and here you have Q2. It may be either positive or negative. Okay, it may be either positive or positive or negative or positive. So electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion between any two charges is equal to directly proportional, means it is directly proportional to product means just multiply product of the charges, but inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. How much is the distance between the two charges? Which means to say that as the distance increases, the force of attraction or repulsion decreases. Why? Because the force of attraction or repulsion is inversely proportional to square of the distance, and this distance is in denominator. So twice it will increase means here force will decrease. Similarly vice versa. If the distance decreases means the electrostatic force increases. So this was the second law of Coulomb. Okay, now moving further to next properties. So we learn two properties of charges. That is, it happens to be from Coulomb's first law to Coulomb's second law. Next, charges. That is third property is charges are electric charge. Their charge means electric charge. They are additive in nature. They are additive in nature. What do you mean by additive? You can add the charges. You can add the charges. For example, you have say positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Say for example Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6. You can add all the charges. It means these charges are additive means it is equal to algebraic sum. Because why we use the algebraic sum means the charges are many, countless, right? So that's why you can add the charges. Okay, that is summation Q is equal to what? Q1 plus Q2, summation Qn is equal to plus Q3 plus so on. Okay, to Qn. You can add all the charges. So charges are additive in nature. Okay. Next, fourth property is charges are conserved, or electric charge is conserved. Is conserved in nature. So we have learnt in law of conservation of energy. Remember, right? What do you mean by that? Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can always be transferred from one state to another state, or from one body to another body. So similarly, here electric charge is conserved means you cannot. Electric charge can neither be created nor be destroyed. Cannot be destroyed, but can be transferred. Which means to say that there is no loss of any charges. Okay. Which means to say that if at all a body has lost the charges in the form of electrons, the same amount of charges would have been gained by some other body, wherein the body which has lost the charges will become positive charge, and the body which has gained the equal amount of same charge will become negative charge. That's why in between there is no loss of charge. Okay, the charge won't be lost, but it can be transferred from one body to another body. Okay, so that's why you can neither create the charge nor you can destroy it, but it can only be transferred. So that is electric charge is conserved. Okay, next is electric charge. Okay, this electric charge can be quantized. Electric charge or electric charge is quantized. Means you have the formula Q is equal to N into E. In few textbooks they have even used capital Q for the charge. You can even use small q also. Here a small q represents charge. N represents what? Whether that is number of electrons, that is the number of charges either to be positive or negative. So that's why that N value may be plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4, so on. Here plus 1 indicates positive charge, negative minus 1 indicates negative charge. And this E means charge on an electron. This E means called as charge on an electron. Means charge on an electron means here we are establishing the relationship between charge and electron. Okay. Now, what do you mean by saying the charge on an electron? Here means, see, an electron means one electron, right? So, 1 electron is equal to how much charge means it is equal to, what is the unit of charge? See here, charge is given by Q, it is represented by Q, unit of charge is coulomb, or it is simply given by capital C. C means coulombs, coulomb is the unit of electric charge. Now, 1 electron is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. 1 electron is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs, which means 1 electron is having so much of coulombs. Okay, now come the other way around, means 1 coulomb is equal to how many electrons? 1 electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs, standard value. Therefore, 1 coulomb is equal to how many electrons? Just 1 divided by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 you do. This 10 power minus 19, when it goes to the numerator, it will become positive. That is 1 by x power minus m is equal to x power plus m, right? So 1 by 1.6, if you do that, you will get 0.625. 0.625 into 10 power, this will become plus 19, right? Now, just shift that 1 point to the right side. When you shift the 1 point to right side, this will decrease us by 1 point. Okay, so what you will get? You will get how much? 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. Okay, now 1 electron is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, or 1 coulomb is equal to, I'll write neatly, 1 coulomb is equal to 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. You cannot even imagine that if I say that a charge is having 1 coulomb means how much of electron it is present. See here, 1 electron is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, whereas 1 coulomb is equal to 6.25 into 10 to the power of 18 electrons. So this means that electrons, that is charge, can be quantized. Okay, this is the relationship between electron and coulombs. Now see here students, now you have 1 electron, or charge on an electron is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Now this can be plus, means plus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb means a body has lost the electrons. How much? This. Because when a body is said to be positive charged, right, it loses the electrons, which means if an electron is having plus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs means it has lost the electrons. Similar way, if it is minus, say for example, minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs, so it means that that particular body has gained the electrons of 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Okay, so like that you should understand. Okay, that is the positive sign. That is the meaning of having a positive sign and having a negative sign. Concept is what do you mean by conductors? What do you mean by conductor? Not bus conductor. Okay. What do you mean by conductors? Are those substances, okay, which easily allow the flow of charges, or conductors are those in which the flow of charges, the charges will flow very easily, which will take the charges very easily. That is, they are called as conductors. The conductors are the materials in which the electric charge will pass through them very easily. Example for conductors, you can give any examples, right? Almost all metals, okay, then electrolytes. Electrolytes are also called as aqueous solutions, okay, aqueous solutions. Then you can also have ionized gases, okay. So these are all the examples for conductors, which means which will easily take the charges to flow through them very easily. They are all conductors, okay. You can see that wires and all, right, copper, aluminium, they are all conductors. Now insulator, and why these conductors are means they easily take the charges to be flowing through them very easily, means because they contains free electrons. And these free electrons are responsible for conduction of electricity, or they are responsible for the electricity to take place, or for the charges to flow through them very easily. That's why, because of these free electrons only, the conductors are able to receive the electricity. Okay, they can be able to allow the charges to flow through them very easily. Next comes the insulators. Insulators are those in which it will not allow the flow of electric charges, or the electric charges will not pass through them, right? So that they are called as insulators. Example for insulators, you can give glass, then porcelain, Okay, then wood, glass, porcelain, wood, and they are all examples for then paper. They are all examples for insulators in which there is no flow of electric charges, or it won't take the electric charges to pass through it. Okay, now why these insulators are so means because here in insulators these free electrons are there, right? They are tightly bound. They are tightly bounded to the atom or nucleus of an atom. Since they are very tightly bounded to the nucleus of an atom or to the atom itself, so the free electrons are not able to move through the insulators. That's why they will not take the charges to flow through them. So since these electrons are tightly bounded to the atom, the insulators won't pass the electric charge through it. Okay, so they are conductors and insulators. Moving to the next concept, that is the electricity. You know that electricity is there, right? This electricity, it can be classified into two types. One is static electricity. Static electricity. The other one is current electricity. Static electricity and current electricity. What do you mean by static electricity? Static means what? Stationary. Static, stationary means what? Rest. Static electricity is the branch of electricity which deals with charges, at rest. Okay, which deals with charges at rest or stationary. Okay, that is static electricity. Current electricity means it is the branch of electricity which deals with the motion of electrons or movement of electrons, right? Or where the charges are in motion. So that is known as current electricity. Okay, here static means charges at rest. Current electricity means it is the electricity in which we have the flow of electrons or flow of charges through it. Okay, so these are the classification of electricity. Next concept is electric current. Okay, now till we have understood the charges, the properties of charges, conductors, insulators, and static electricity and current electricity. Those definitions and those properties we have understood. Next is electric current. Now, this electric current, when we speak, it is nothing but what? Electric current is defined as the rate of flow of charges. Rate of flow of charges in a conductor or through a conductor. Rate of flow of charges in a conductor, it is known as electric current. Here, students, you can see here, I have used the word rate. Whenever I use the word rate or whenever in the statement or any definition rate is there, means it always speaks about time. Remember, time, T. Okay, rate means time. Because time is very precious, right? And it is very independent. Time depends on nobody. Everybody should depend on time, right? So that's why time is an independent variable. So rate of flow of charges. Suppose, see students, if you switch on the fan, okay, suppose say for example, you switch on the fan, electric current will flow through it, fan will rotate. Till how long you will switch on the fan? Half an hour, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Which means there is a specific time, okay, there is a specific time for which you are using that particular appliance or the load, right, where the electric current is passing. So, when you are switching on the fan, the rate of flow of charges means the electrons or the current will flow through the wires and fan rotates. How long? What is the rate? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, so that is known as rate. Okay, that's why electric current is represented by capital I. So electric current is defined as rate of means time, flow of charges. I is equal to Q by T. I repeat once again, electric current is defined as rate of flow of charges. Always remember, time will come in the denominator. Q means charge. Okay, it is charge. Charge by T means time. So charge by time is nothing but electric current. I means electric current. Now what is the unit of electric current? Unit of electric current is ampere. Unit of electric current is ampere. Remember, you can even write ampere full form, or even you can represent it as capital A. Okay. For examples like, you can even say 2 ampere, 3 ampere, 4 ampere. Okay, so these are all bigger units of electric current. Bigger units means more, like 2 ampere, 3 ampere, 4 ampere. Even you have smaller units also for electric current, that is now what are the smaller units of electric current means? Suppose you have, say for example, 10 small m capital A. It is called as 10 milliampere. 10 milliampere. So here milli means, okay, milli means 10 power minus 3. The means in powers of 10. Milli means 10 power minus 3. Then one more smaller unit of the current. You can even have like 1.5 microampere. Here this mu, this is called as, symbol is called as mu. Okay. Or in powers of 10, if you call, this same thing is called as micro. In powers of 10. In powers of 10, it is called as micro. Okay. Here you should not call it as 1.5 mu e. Okay. It is 1.5 microampere. Here micro or mu. Here milli means small m. Okay, micro mu is equal to, its value in power of 10 means 10 power minus 6. 10 raised to minus 6, or 10 power of minus 6. So 1.5 microampere means 1.5 into 10 power minus 6 ampere. Means conversion from milli to ampere. Okay, milli to ampere, that is 10 power minus 3. Then micro to ampere, that is 1.5 to 10 power minus 6 ampere. So here 10 milliampere means 10 into 10 power minus 3 ampere. 1.5 microampere means 1.5 into 10 power minus 6 ampere. So these are smaller and bigger units of electric currents. So moving further, we have the definition of electric current, that is rate of flow of charges through a conductor is called as electric current. Now, unit of electric current is ampere. Now, I will define 1 ampere. Now, electric current, left hand side is said to be 1 ampere. Very simple, students. Here, when you will get the LHS equal to 1, when the RHS, both the numerator and denominator should cancel and you should get 1, right? Or means they should have only unit, which means electric current is said to be 1 ampere if the charges flowing through the conductor is 1 coulomb and they are flowing for a time period of 1 second, right? Current is said to be 1 ampere, or current flowing through the circuit or a conductor is said to be 1 ampere if it takes the charge of, or if it allows 1 coulomb of charge to flow through them in the time of 1 second. Now see here, 1 by 1 is 1. Now just cross multiply. 1 coulomb is equal to what? 1 ampere into 1 second. So what do you mean by that? Charge is said to be 1 coulomb, or a conductor will allow 1 coulomb of charge to flow through them is equal to, which means it is taking a current of 1 ampere for the time of 1 second. So this is how we have to read this particular equation. How the electric circuit or the conductor takes the charge of 1 coulomb, which is equal to the same conductor taking a current of 1 ampere for the time period of 1 second. Okay. Then how do you define this? 1 ampere. The conductor is said to be taking 1 ampere of current when there is rate of flow of 1 coulomb of charge. Or you can also say that the current in the particular conductor or a circuit is said to be 1 ampere if the flow of charges is equal to 1 coulomb in the time of 1 second. Okay.